Hello and welcome to The Rings of Power is Good, actually, episode 3. I'm Quincy,
I'm Nadia.
and we're brother and sister who love the Rings of Power show on Amazon Prime. And Nadia, the trailer and some behind the scenes stuff has been released for season 3.
Really? Yay.
How are we going to
Oh,
how are we going to watch this as a family? All four episodes, the first four
oh,
episodes come out all at once. So are we going to watch it from 7 o'clock until midnight?
yes. Yeah. I pictured us invading your house and us sending the kids to bed every 3 seconds. What are you watching? It's fine. Guys, like,
Yeah,
don't watch the
exactly.
film. We see somebody's head.
Yeah,
Children.
yeah. Oh
Just
boy.
some of it will be child appropriate. Maybe not all of it.
Yeah, I have to figure this out.
But I know. People have very mixed feelings about the way they're dropping it. I think it's kind. I like to binge stuff, but also that's going to be hard on people that are podcasting about it and stuff like that. So we'll
Yeah.
see.
Oh, it will be. It will be. I mean, people should just take their time. It's fine, but everybody has to do everything all at once. So. Well, we're going to talk about
Yeah.
the our top 10 favorite things we've seen from the Rings of Power season 3 trailer, plus the behind the scenes images and clips that have been out there a little bit. So, without further ado, number 10 on our list, Celeborn and Galadriel reunited. Oh, adorable. Adorable. Making me feel positive things about Celeborn, which is not really something I've ever done too much. So,
Yeah. I mean, he's fine in the books. I don't know. I think he's not all that interesting until you start digging into uh ancillary material there, and still doesn't do a whole lot. Maybe. I think the image of him as like a happy golden retriever husband kind of appeals to me. Maybe he's just a it seems like he's generally wise and happy and Galadriel's off doing crazy things and Celeborn's like, okay, I support you, Queen.
Jamie Campbell
um
Bower DJing at the party and then saying, "Where is Gandalf? For I much desired to vibe with him." Also, it makes the character that much better. So, when these guys know so much,
yeah, I love
know a lot of the lore and stuff, it just makes it even better to watch.
yeah, Daniel Wayman dancing around there. That party was highlighted. That whole video was there. It made me very jealous of everybody at Comic-Con. It seemed like they were having a great time. So
Yeah.
lucky.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
it'll be
no.
fun to see how they get reunited. It'll be fun to see how they met, which I guess is a flashback, and it'll be fun
Okay.
to see just pretty much everything about their story. So I'm excited about that.
I know we're doing spoiler heavy, but I'm like, I'd read, I think it was the Empire article. They talked about how pretty much they were filming a scene of them meeting, and like the classic, she's practicing with her sword, and he comes in, and starts kind of sword fighting with her. Um, and then he seems to acquire a lock of her hair, which, as we know, is rather significant for Galadriel, being like, yes, you can have it. Nobody else.
Oh yeah.
You and Ghibli.
Yeah.
Yeah, that article recently dropped where they were talking about how that's happening, and then they ended up, and then they were filming the dance scene. But yeah, I think that's interesting. I just saw that information drop, but I'm like, it's one of those things that I was surprised they pretty much described how the scene went. I was like, okay, interesting.
Hmm.
Sounds cool to me. They can
All
be a
right.
battle couple. I'm excited about that too.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Yeah, number nine, we liked, of course, Durin, King Durin, standing up to the Nazgul. Uh, the Nazgul are kind of very ubiquitous in this trailer, and I loved the image of him, yes, there with all the Nazgul creeping up on him and him just with his axe, because I'm like, yes, that's what he would do. Um, I also loved it. I feel like it's kind of a callback to Lord of the Rings when the Nazgul come visit them and Erebor and be like, "Hey, do you have any rings? We could give you rings." And he's like, "No."
Yeah,
And then just
exactly.
kind of sasses the Nazgul. I would love to see Doran sass Nazgul. I like that.
I It
Yeah,
sounds like
yeah,
it sounds like Durin's brother is going to be wanting a ring, and Durin's trying to keep the dwarves from having all the rings, and for their own good. And yeah, I like how they're setting that up, and it'll be interesting to see the kingdoms fall and so forth from the ring. And do you think we'll see Smog this season or a dragon? I wonder.
oh my gosh, what if we did? Okay, so Smog comes in, and spoiler, if we see Doriath, it will be Nadia's favorite season ever. This is just my personal season.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, that and Disa, I love Disa and her crown. And also not exactly behind the scenes, but they did talk to the actors and they confirmed that like Elrond and Joran are gonna meet up again this season. And I'm
Oh,
like, yay.
they have to give us that for sure.
Yeah. We gotta have some happiness here in the middle of everything going to pieces. At least I hope
Number
they're happy.
Number 8, Gandalf getting on a Mumakil. I mean, again, this is something that should just happen for sure. One of the
Yeah.
themes of this list is stop being so ridiculous about cool things that like
Yes, you
Gandalf
don't like
totally
things
could
that
have
are cool.
Gandalf totally went to Harad. He totally could have rode on a Mumakil. Why not put it in the show? Fine with me. He's kind of doing a little bit of what Tolkien speculated the Blue Wizards might have done. Not a big deal. I hope he has some great interactions in Harad, and that there turns out to be this, remnant in Harad that resists Sauron because of what Gandalf did there. That would be awesome.
Yeah, no, he talked about like where Gandalf is like kindling all these people to actually stand up and be able to fight against the bad guys. Like they talked about that in some interviews, and I think that really sounds like, what he was doing in the book. So I'm excited to see that. And I'm like, if he's right, I gotta move a cool even better.
And
That sounds great.
And in the books, I mean, it's not like Tolkien gives you a specific date that Gandalf showed up per se. It's all legends and stuff. But even if the date that makes sense for Gandalf to show up, there's like 1,000 to 1,500 years where we don't know what he was doing. So if
Yeah.
we're able to see some of that here, it's cool with me.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be interesting, and he does a great job as Gandalf. I think that I'm excited to see more of him actually be able to be a bit more Gandalf-like in the show. So yeah, I think that'll be fun.
All right, number seven
Speaking
is
of fun
about
times
Numenor. Tell
for
us about number
everyone,
seven.
yes, yeah, we got Numenor going off, and I think it does seem like we're gonna get to Pharazôn capturing Sauron by the end of this season, and then we're gonna go probably to the fall of Numenor. But yeah, Pharazôn certainly seems to be teaming up with Gil-galad and seems to be on the warpath here. Um, seeing what we've seen in the last couple seasons, he seems to be interested in Sauron, and it does, I'm not exactly sure how they're gonna get there, but it does seem like they're doing the thing where they're teaming up and Numenor comes and helps out with the whole war, which isn't going too well. Um, but yeah, I've heard a lot of people speculate about how that's gonna happen, but I really feel like that probably is gonna be how the season ends, which is they talked about how dark it is, and I'm like that it's it's gonna be interesting because it's a very false victory there, where
Yeah.
you're like, oh no.
I mean, especially for people that may not know the lore so well, I can see how it would be. It's going to be an amazing twist to have Sauron like winning and nobody can stop him, and then suddenly Numenor shows up and overpowers him, and then like one of the last things we see is Sauron like winking, saying, "Oh no, capture me," and we'll all be like, "No,
We go straight into another
don't
Sauron and his
fall into the
movie.
trap."
I
All
know
right,
it's interesting. We talked a little teensy bit about Sauron doesn't really have like somebody to manipulate this season. He's just like attacking people.
oh
The what I say one other thing I've heard real quickly is that I heard people speculate that like Elendil seems to have, he has a resistance army. And then it would be interesting if they're the ones that actually teamed up with Gil-galad and then like Pharazôn swoops in at the end and just grabs Sauron. I was like, I could definitely see that happening.
yeah, right. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, and we did get an image of Anar Anarion,
Yeah.
Isildur's brother, showing up, which is exciting. Exciting to finally see him make it in there.
Yeah.
So number 6, we get to see Sauron petting a fell beast. Can I pet that dog?
I'm gonna say too. I'm weirdly judgy about people putting CGI creatures, and that looked good to me. So good on them. I'm like, but yes,
Sauron getting the fell beast. There was a pretty amazing quote from JD Payne about watching Charlie Vickers play a scene as Sauron and feeling uncomfortable about how cruel and awful he is. And I was like, yep, that's what we need to see. Anybody who is concerned about this show will present Sauron positively. Sounds like that will be dispelled in this season. And so I imagine
yeah,
that that beast will probably experience some bad things at the hands of Sauron before he's petting it, so to speak. But cool to see these things start to form around Sauron, things that we've always known from the building of the tower to the training of the fell beast to the Nazgul, which we'll talk about a little bit later. That's going to be pretty
yeah.
amazing to see.
I imagine people will probably be getting fed to the fell beast, so they talk about how he feeds it on like all these uh meats
Yeah.
when he was making them. Yeah, so we're gonna get to number five is a Nadia personal Mount Doom or a thing that I really want to see happen. Um yeah, so it looks like we're getting Doriath, probably not under that name because I don't think that they necessarily can use it unless they talk real nice to the Tolkien estate, which they've done with other things. But we do get Celeborn and Galadriel meeting. From that we get the lovely dance, which looks like a forest elven kingdom. If you're not super familiar with Doriath, if you ever heard of Beren and Luthien, Luthien comes from there. And also, we talked a little bit. That's kind of where Galadriel learned a lot of kind of her magic and how to make Limbus from another Nadia personal favorite, who is Melion, who same kind of creature as Sauron, decided to not take over the world and instead settle down with her hot elf husband, which also kind of inspired Galadriel to go find a hot elf husband, I feel like. So, but I really think it's a fun kingdom. It's interesting. It's also kind of tied up with the elves fighting a lot about things. It's kind of one of those kingdoms that held out for a long time because of the queen having a lot of magic that can repel spiders and Morgoths, creatures that are going to go out to destroy it. But I would love to see that kingdom. I think it's so interesting and it's fun that they're tying in things from the Silmarillion that you'd never seen on screen before. But yeah, it's fun to see the elves kind of like having a happy time and kind of figuring out where Galadriel's getting inspired to make Lothlorien. I think I would love to see that. I would love if they did tie some of that into like what wanted her to make her eventually, because I think that you definitely read that when you read Silmarillion.
Yeah.
But yes, I
I
could talk
mean,
about that for too long. So
if we see Melon on screen, we'll scream.
no, I love it so much. I'm like I love Tolkien so much. You don't always see a whole lot of ladies interacting, and I love their relationship. I love that she's like teaching Galadriel all these things. I think it's really
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
And
Speaking of
Melian, of course,
relation,
yeah.
speaking of Galadriel relationships, number four, we get to have a little Arondir and Galadriel buddy cop movie. It looks like as they go around
Yes.
Middle Earth trying to fight Sauron, and apparently an orc becomes part of this. And everybody, there's people freaking out about a good orc. But again, one thing I would say is that this is early on into Sauron's control over orcs, who have been set free from the control of Morgoth and been under Adar's control. So I think we can accept that at this point there may be some orcs that are trying a different sort of lifestyle from the usual orc-nish, and eventually things will change. But I also think that I wouldn't trust that this orc has great motives, and probably that might also be revealed eventually. But it'll be great to see Arondir and Galadriel traveling together and being amazing together.
Yeah, I mean, even like people that are very fuzzy on orcs, they definitely talk about how the orcs like hate Sauron and Morgoth. I don't
Yeah,
know
I
if this
mean,
orc is going to be like the best person ever, but I think that his motivations for wanting to betray them aren't hard to figure out.
yeah, it's pretty clear, especially like reading the whole Tower of Cirith Ungol stuff and
Yeah.
into Mordor, where Sam and Frodo overhear orcs. Orcs don't really love Sauron, and also the Silmarillion tells you about like that he was made fun of by the orcs at points. So
Yeah.
Everybody needs to kind of relax about that. There's nothing unusual about an orc saying, "Yeah, we don't really want Sauron in charge." I don't think that that's an unusual thing at all.
Yeah. Well, people have also speculated that maybe Arondir and Galadriel are off kind of Nazgul hunting, which brings us into the next part. So yeah, we see men turning into Nazgul, which I think is really cool. You can kind of see them before they're actually race. They did talk a little bit in an article about how we'll kind of see the process of like what happens when you put on the ring and then it's changing them. And I think that's going to be interesting. And I guess we're getting a few Nazgul that are just already, pretty much down that process, and we're getting other people getting their rings. Which again, we go back to who's gonna get a ring. We have our usual suspects like Kevin and hopefully not.
Yeah, you would assume
Whoever.
that the Numenorian people that Sauron corrupts probably are getting corrupted later in this season or even into next season.
Hmm. Yeah, Farrell Don's little hanger on seems like he might be a candidate as well. Yeah, no, there's definitely people who seem like they're probably interested in saying yes if he's like, "Would you like a nice ring?" Um, yeah, but all their designs are really cool, and you can see them like choke slamming and throat slamming elves, and
Yeah.
like all these other things that look rather impressive.
Yeah, that was impressive. Yeah, I think it'll help show how terrifying these creatures are, and yeah, that'll be. I mean, these former men. Yeah, hopefully, I hope too that in the middle of this we'll get some like compassion going for what happened to these men. That like some of them may have taken a ring for good reasons to try to help their kingdom, to try maybe one of them has a sick kid and the ring can help their kid keep living, and that kind of thing would be great to see because Aragorn definitely shows you that he understands that these people used to be men and they were corrupted by Sauron, and Sauron's the one who some of them I'm sure were evil people who took the ring for evil reasons, but some of them maybe not. So I hope that that will show up.
Yeah, I mean, like people have speculated about Theo getting one for forever, and he's kind of like a candidate where I think that would be you would feel a lot of compassion for him if he decided to grab a ring. Hopefully
Yeah.
not, Theo, don't do that.
Yeah. Poor Theo. All right. Well, number two, a confrontation between Sauron and the Balrog. Look, everybody who is upset about this, you need to stop being such a little dweeb. Like this is amazing. It is amazing. All the little clips, the Balrog getting upset and slamming the sword down on Sauron, who blocks it with Morgoth's crown, and they're talking about how he can survive inside a volcano. That's what he wants to hear from the Balrog. Balrogs don't talk. Look, Gothmog gave orders. Gothmog was a general. Gothmog strategized. The Balrog in Moria casts a spell. Clearly, they have a way to communicate. And if anybody could hear them, so to speak, it's another Maya, who Sauron definitely can understand what a Balrog is saying. And there could be some amazing lore here where the Balrog hates Sauron because he realizes that Sauron kind of turned his back on Morgoth at the end of things and was jealous of Sauron being Morgoth's number one lieutenant. Like there could be some amazing lore thrown into that. So Sauron and the Balrog
Hmm.
interacting, that's an awesome idea. I applaud.
Yeah, no, I think it's really cool. And also the fact that they talked about, he can't. It's somebody he kind of considers on his own level, so I think you don't usually see that with Sauron. I mean, he probably thinks that he's better than him for sure, but he can't just, try to intimidate him necessarily.
He doesn't
So
have to
that's gonna
pretend
be
to be he doesn't
interesting.
have to pretend to be good. That would
Yeah,
be a negative for the Balrog.
yeah, no. So I'm very excited about that. I like
Here
Simon
come the
Pegg is great
Balrog.
too. Yes. So I'm excited to see. Yes, that needs to be in there. We have a grandma orc just in like in tribute to her. Right. Yeah. Number one, which is number one for a lot of us. Hey, Sauron is forging the One Ring. Which is kind of seems to be a lot of the point of the season. That's what he's heading towards. He's trying to figure out how to do that after whoopsies destroying the guy who could help him out because he was mad. But yeah, all of those scenes look really interesting. How he has the foraging material set up kind of like they did in Celebrimbor's forge there. It looks really cool where he has the ring rhyme around it. Um, and of course, getting the Balrog to help him out figure out how to actually forge it in Mount Doom. But there's lots of interesting. I like the fact that he can't figure it out. That he's trying to kind of reverse engineer getting the Elven rings. He has a lot of interesting methods to try to do that. And the fact that Feanor's hammer seems to be figuring into it too. Where they talked about, well, what did he not see them do when they made the Elven Ring? Something that he didn't see them do was melt down the dagger. So I wonder if that's something that maybe he ends up melting down Feanor's hammer to make the One Ring, which would be interesting. Kind of tie it all together as sort of the Silmarillion's about them after going after Silmarils. Lord of the Rings is them figuring out how to get rid of the ring. I think that's a cool symmetry. Excuse me. I would like to see that happen. I think that'd be cool if that was what he got the gold from to make that.
It sounds like it's a lengthy sequence without dialogue and could be pretty amazing to watch. So, yeah, very exciting things from the trailer, and we'll keep talking about this show in episodes to come. Please like, subscribe, rate, review, download. And Nadia, where can they find the great little videos that you're doing about why the Rings of Power is good, actually?
I'm Nadia Tolkien on most platforms, including TikTok and Threads. We don't usually go to the Mordor that is Twitter, but I think you're on there sometime, and not Twitter X. um, but yeah, I'm on Threads, Instagram, and TikTok as Nadia Tolkien, and we're doing lots of reasons why the Rings of Power is good, actually. So yeah.